Hi everyone on YouTube and all the NFL YouTube prognosticators and football fans everywhere. This is Andrew Warren, back here once again, giving you my thoughts about Week 18 and my picks for the 2021-2022 NFL Wildcard Playoffs. Check it out. First off, before I get to my thoughts, I want to say my condolences to Bob Saget and his family, which Bob Saget originally passed away on Sunday, which was a really sad travesty, though. Well, I guess he had an health emergency or something like that. I just found out recently, so, I wasn't a big fan of Full House, but, I always respected him as a comedian and stuff like that. I just remember back when I was a kid, back in the 90s, when he hosted America's Funniest Home Videos, so stuff like that, so I just remember all the good stuff that he had with that, so, but my thoughts and prayers are out to his family, and hope I wish him really well. So, anyways, that being said, I forgot to do something. But anyways, that being said, let's get to my thoughts about Week 18. I were straight up and unfortunately went 7-9 overall, but I did finish with 170, 90, and 1 overall of the year. So that was a pretty good one. But I wish it could have been better. But to finish off the season, but it wasn't meant. But But against the spread, I just made it to the 500 mark. I went 8-8 for making 135, 128 and 1 overall in the year, which is not bad for that for the against the spread. So in the over and unders, unfortunately I went 7-9 on that one too. And overall in the year, I went below 500 for the season, 129, 130 and 6 overall the year, which that could change in the playoffs, so I can turn things around. But anyways, I'm thinking about doing like the over and unders just a lot of primetime games and all the playoffs next year. Just cut it down a little bit on that because I know I'm not really doing good on that. So that's just a thought I was gonna do, but I haven't really decided what I'm gonna do yet until this coming season next year, and then just go from there. But anyways, that being said, my thoughts about Week 18. Kansas City and Denver. Kansas City did what they needed to do to clinch the playoff spot. They needed Tennessee to lose, we'll get to Tennessee in a bit. But Kansas City locked up a playoff berth at number 2 or something like that. I think it was number 2. I think it was. But let me check just a little bit. Yeah, it was number 2. They locked up the number 2 seed, and they're going to be facing the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Dallas Cowboys in Philadelphia. That was a game that Dallas wanted to win outright, but now what the Eagles lost, they only had to hope they lost. Some teams lose to get into the wild card spot, which both teams are in the playoffs. Things could happen at any day on that. So, what could be the case scenario with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys meeting up in the playoffs? So, what we don't know yet, we'll find out. Green Bay and Detroit. Green Bay rested a lot of their players, and Detroit won. Minnesota and Chicago. Well, it was cleanup day for both teams. Minnesota got the win, but Mike Zimmerman's out, Matt Nagy's out, in their respectable teams. So there are going to be some new head coaching positions on that over there. The Washington football team and the New York Giants. The Washington football team did what they needed to do to win. Now the New York Giants just need a new GM. They haven't, and we don't know what Joe Judge's the factor would be for next year. Indianapolis and Jacksonville. For Indianapolis' case, you are standing at a 9-6 record for the next 2 games. You only needed 1 playoff win to clinch the wild card spot, and you didn't. So I gotta say that's probably a big meltdown and a big collapse. So did what they needed to do on that. So for my case, Frank Wright needs to be fired because of that collapse. Because if you lose to Jacksonville, I don't think you deserve to get a job in that. The Bills can get away with it because they're in the playoffs, but you needed 1 game to win. 1 game and you didn't get it. You needed to win, and Jacksonville blew it for you. Baltimore and Pittsburgh, it was a great victory for Pittsburgh. Now because of that, they had a hope for Pittsburgh to one of the 2 teams of the Chargers in Las Vegas to win, which I'll get that one in a bit. And Pittsburgh got the win they needed. Now they're in the playoffs right now. Tennessee and Houston. Tennessee needed to win to capture the number 1 playoff spot, which they did, and they got the number 1 seed. And I remind you that Pittsburgh got the number 7 seed. So, and on that. So, anyways, that being said, you know, New Orleans and Atlanta, priority game for both teams. But, you know, both teams got eliminated, so they did what they needed to do. But the Saints won. That's all I can tell you. Hey, Buffalo and the New York Jets. Buffalo needed to win to clinch the division. They did that. Sadly. But that's all right, you know. Now, because of that, they won the division. Now they get to play my Patriots in Buffalo. Which, speaking of my Patriots, a big disappointment at the end of the year. Another big disappointment for Miami, for Brian Flores. But Brian Flores got canned for the Miami Dolphins, which, in my perspective, I think Brian Flores is not a bad coach. I really don't think so. I just think he was on a bad organization with a bad players and stuff like that, except for Tua. But I don't really put much blame on Brian Flores because they got him to a good chance of the playoff spot. If they would have won against Tennessee, it probably would have been a different scenario. They probably would be in the playoffs, and Brian Flores would still have his job by now. So I wouldn't put too much blame on Brian Flores for that, for not making the playoffs and everything else. It just didn't work out the way it did. I went 1-7, then you had a 6-game winning streak, and then you lose to Tennessee, and you won against my Patriots. But if they would have beaten Tennessee and beaten my Patriots, they probably would have got a spot in the wild card spot, and maybe my Patriots would have been out of the playoffs. And maybe Brian Flores would have kept his job. So, now, I wouldn't be too harsh on Brian Flores, you know. I kind of felt bad that he got fired for that, which I would have not fired him, per se, but, you know, it's probably the best for Brian Flores, because maybe he can relearn from his mistakes, like Belichick did in Cleveland. Then he probably learn from what he did for my Patriots now. So I would probably say if I'm Brian Flores, I would probably go back to my Patriots right now. Then, as of right now, I think Gerard Mayo may be going to Denver right now. So I think that would be the case. If that's going to be the case, I think it'd be a good case for Brian Flores to come back. So I think that's going to be a good scenario, and probably learn more from Belichick, maybe get another head coaching position down the road. So, anyways, that being said, Tampa Bay and Carolina. Tampa Bay got a win, and they needed it. So now Tampa Bay is on the driver's seat for the number 2 spot. Now they're going to be facing Philadelphia. So, anyways, that being said, you know, the Rams in San Francisco. The Rams did what they needed to do to win. Well, San Francisco didn't do what they needed to do to win, and they did. So that was the case on that one. So, you know, but nevertheless, they needed Arizona for a loss, in which that one was the case. We'll get to Arizona in a bit. So I'm going to get that one last. But, you know, so anyways, for the Rams, the Rams needed a win, and they did. So, and they didn't do that. But San Francisco needed a win, too, to get into the playoffs, which they did. So now San Francisco's in the playoffs. Now, because of the Rams, they just dropped to number 4 because of the game for Seattle and Arizona, which Seattle won that game. Which, first off, let me say I wished Quandre Diggs nothing but the best from that devastating injury that he had against the Seahawks. You know, he is a really good player, though. I wish him nothing but the best for that. I just wish he's going to be a free agent this coming year, which now that's going to be the case. I think everyone's going to back away on it, and probably Seattle is probably going to go. So, re-sign him. So, now because of Quandre Diggs' broken leg injury, I think this is a little devastating news. I just wish him for a speedy recovery for next year. And maybe he can learn from that big team for Seattle. I don't know this about Seattle's case about it now, but Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll, about that. They could be out. I don't know. We'll see what they can do on that one. But anyway, because of the win, because of Arizona lost to Seattle, that gives the Rams a division. So now in Arizona dropped down to number 5 seed. So, which in my early predictions, which I will get to that, I had number 1 Tennessee, number 2 Buffalo, number 3 the Chiefs, number 4 Ravens, number 5 the Steelers, number 6 the Patriots, and the number 7 Browns. Which, from my case scenario, I was a little off on there. I got the Tennessee Titans number 1 correct, but and everything else. But I didn't get I did get number 2 wrong. Which was the Chiefs and the Bills were number 3, so I just kind of swapped those two out. And I thought the Ravens would get the division, which they didn't get that. It was Cincinnati, so I was wrong on that prediction on that. And I was right for the Steelers, but they're number 7, not number 5. But I got the Patriots where they are, so did what they needed to do on that number 6. But like I said in my early prediction video in August, that I said that Bill Belichick should get Rookie of the Year because of that playoff, what he did in the playoffs. Getting a rookie quarterback to go to the playoffs without Tom Brady, I think that's a no-brainer. That's a Coach of the Year candidate on that one. No doubt about that. But don't get me wrong, but because with the loss from Arizona, for no disrespect to Arizona, but, I mean, they're a good team, but, for Arizona, but, like Cliff Kingsbury, if Cliff Kingsbury would have gotten that division, I would have considered being wrong on that for Coach of the Year. But I think because of what happened for that not getting that division for the NFC West, I think Bill Belichick is going to get Rookie of the Year. So, and for the NFC side, as I predicted on that for the NFC, I predicted that the NFC would go number 1, the Bucs, which that was not the case on that one, which is Green Bay. I got the Green Bay in the wild card spot, but I did get, hold on, the Dallas Cowboys number 2, which that was not the case from that one. So, anyways, that being said, I think for San Francisco on that in that one. So, the Dallas is number 3, which I was wrong on that one. Which I had the Bucs, the Cowboys number 2, and I had the Bears number 3, which they were my disappointment. And I originally had Justin Fields winning Rookie of the Year, which I think I'm going to be wrong on that one. But I think Matt Jones is going to get Rookie of the Year on that one, so I think I was wrong on that one. But I did get the number 4 right, which is the Rams, and I got the number 5, the Cardinals correct, which I think I had those correct in my early prediction videos. And I had the number 6 San Francisco correct, so that was pretty good. But the only one I got wrong in the wild card was the Packers, which that one belonged to Philadelphia on that one. So I guess I was really wrong on a couple of things on that. I was close, I was really close to my wild card spots. I guess but I would probably say, I don't know, I got 2/3 of it right, so I think I was close in the early prediction videos that I predicted on that. But anyways, that being said, let's get on. Let's get on to my wild cards picks and go from there. Okay, let's gonna kick things off in the wild card for the AFC side for the 2 AFC teams, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Las Vegas Raiders. So I would say the Cincinnati Bengals case, Joe Burrow and Derek Carr, this is going to be a classic quarterback duel on that one. I expect to be a wild card. I expect it to be but I think their defense is going to be really good as well. So if I'm one of the wild card teams, I would probably look out for Cincinnati more than anything else. But anyways, that being said, I think for Cincinnati's case, they're looking for their first playoff win since the early 90s. Since 1991, I believe. So, and it's been over at least 31 years now that they haven't won a wild card game. So I think that's going to be changing up this year. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl or anything go farther than that. But I think if this is the team if this is the time that for Cincinnati to win, this is it. So because of that, I think I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals over the Las Vegas Raiders in Cincinnati on this one. On the line, though, Cincinnati is favored by 6.5 in this game. I'm going to take Cincinnati minus 6.5. The over and under in this one is 49. I'm going to hedge my bets on this one. I'm going to go over 49 on this one. And I'm going to do something different for the playoffs for the first time, which I think I did in the past, but not as much. I'm going to do the score predictions on this one. So like I said, I'm picking the Cincinnati Bengals to win over the Las Vegas Raiders. Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot about that. I'm sorry. My thoughts about that the LA Chargers, and it was this one. The LA Chargers in the Las Vegas Raiders. I think the LA Chargers, though, if they didn't call timeout, it would have been a different scenario. They would have been facing the Cincinnati Bengals right now. But now because of that belongs to the Vegas Raiders. So I do apologize for not getting for that game on that one. So that was my fault. So, but anyways, that being said, for Cincinnati's case, but once again, Cincinnati over the Las Vegas Raiders. Cincinnati minus 6.5 over 49, which combined score, I think they're gonna go to 51. And the final score on that one, Cincinnati 27. The Vegas Raiders 24. My Patriots and the Buffalo Bills. Going back to Buffalo with the bad weather this time, It's going to be very, very cold, which I have been hearing about that. For weather-wise, back in last time they met in Buffalo, wind chills of 50. Obviously, it's going to be cold there again, so there's going to be a snowstorm too on that night too, like on Friday night or Saturday or something like that. But it's going to be wind chills of like -2 or something like that, with temperatures of 9 degrees. So it's going to be cold again with this one. So the weather could be a factor in that game. So I think on that one. So if I had to pick something out of that, it's probably going to be a big upset in this one. So, and I'm going to guess, knowing for Bill Belichick and bad weathers, I'm picking the upset. I'm taking my New England Patriots over the Buffalo Bills in this game in Buffalo. For them, and on the line, though, the Buffalo Bills are favored by 4.5 in this game. We're going to take my New England Patriots plus 4.5. Over and under is 43. I'm going to go under 43 in this one with the final score. My Patriots 17 and the Buffalo Bills 13. Number 2, Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the number 2, Philadelphia Eagles. This game is going to be a really good one. I expect it to be the two. I expect it to be like a defensive game more than anything. But but that being said, I think this is going to be something situation by the game from my Patriots and in the Miami Dolphins in week 18. But I think for this game, it's going to be a much, much tougher, different scenario on this one. I think this is going to be one's going to be really tough for Philadelphia to handle. But by the way, a little bit of history note itself. 2 former Alabama quarterbacks are in the playoffs, with Jalen Hurts and Mac Jones, which is going to be very interesting on that one. So, very interesting to tell you on that one. But anyways, that being said, I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to make a run for the Super Bowl in this one, like I predicted. So, I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Philadelphia Eagles in this game. On the line, though, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are favored by 9.5. I'm going to go plus 9.5 in this one. I think Philadelphia is going to cover enough with the final score in this one. Oh, wait, with the over and under, it's 49. I'm going to go under 49 on this one, which the final score will be. With the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 26. The Philadelphia Eagles, 17. Just missing the mark for the under on that one. So I think that's going to be a final score for that. The San Francisco 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. Number 6 San Francisco is going to travel to the Dallas Cowboys on this one. Dak Prescott, as I think I made one of my prediction videos, he's going to get comeback play of the year. I know why. So I think for this game, I expect to be more of a defensive game, I would say, to say the least, for this game. Both Dallas defense and San Francisco's defense are really on the top of the rankings on this one. With that being said, I think the San Francisco 49ers are going to pull off an upset in this one, because knowing Dallas, they choke in the playoffs. So I'm going to hedge my bets on this one. I'm going to pick the upset. With the 2 number 6 teams, along with my Patriots beating Buffalo, I'm going to pick the San Francisco 49ers over the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. They're going to pull off the upset in this one. On the line now, Dallas is favored by 3.5 in this game. I'm going to take Dallas plus 3.5. Over and under, it's 49. I'm going to go shoot for the under 49 again with the final score. And the San Francisco 49ers 23, the Dallas Cowboys 20. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game. This game, I expect it to be a really good matchup. I expect to have a good quarterback duel in this one. I feel like it's going to be a similar situation where the Ravens did with Ray Lewis, when they got into the playoffs. And then they have a big run to the Super Bowl and have Ray Lewis go out as a champion. I would not be surprised if this happens to Big Ben like that. So I think this is going to be a much similar situation for that. But this Kansas City Chiefs team is a much dangerous team than it was in years prior. They had a slow start, but they're working their way up now. So I think that being said, I don't think this I think this is a defense is going to be the top of the game for the Kansas City Chiefs right now to handle for Pittsburgh right now. But if Pittsburgh wins, I might give them an upset more, a little bit for Pittsburgh to win. But that being said, as long as that defense is a really strong defense for Kansas City and they're playing in Kansas City, I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game. On the line, though, the Kansas City Chiefs are favored by 13 in this game. I'm going to take Kansas City minus 13. Over and under, it's 46.5. I'm going to go over 46.5. With the final score, Kansas City 34. The Pittsburgh Steelers 21. And for the special Monday Night Football of the Wild Card edition, for the last game of the Wild Card game, it's the LA Rams and the Arizona Cardinals in this game. The rematch from a few years, back in Arizona, back in Monday Night Football, week 16, I think it was, or something like that, when the LA Rams beat them, I think. Hold on, I gotta take a look at my pick scenario again, which I thought it was. Hold on, just give me a sec on that one. Excuse me for a minute, I'm just looking back at my picks and everything. So I thought I picked the Arizona to win. Yeah, I did, and I lost that game. That was week 14. Now I was in Arizona. Now they're in the Rams. So I would not be surprised if the Arizona wins out that game, just a little revenge from week 14. But on the flip side, the Rams defense is too dominant. They dominated that game in week 14. I think they're going to pick up where they left off in week 14, though. So I'm going to go for the LA Rams over the Arizona Cardinals this game in LA. On the line, though, the LA Rams are favored by 4 in this game. I'm going to take the LA Rams minus 4, but I expect it to be an offensive explosion as well. Because Kyle Murray and Matthew Stafford, they're two good quarterbacks. So I'll give them that. And by the way, if Matthew Stafford wins, this could be his first playoff win, I think, in his career. So he never won in the postseason in Detroit. So this could be a chance for the lifetime for Matthew Stafford to get a win in the playoffs. So that's why I'm gonna take the LA Rams over the Arizona Cardinals in this game. So on the line, the Rams are favored by 4. I'm gonna take the Rams minus 4. Over and under, it's 50. I'm gonna go shoot over 50 on this one. With the final score, the LA Rams 28, the Arizona Cardinals 24. Okay, shoutouts this week is my good old buddy from the NFL YouTube prognosticator community, Matt the NFL Fanatic. Definitely check him out and the rest of the NFL YouTube prognosticator page in the description down below. And until then, this is Andrew Warren saying good luck to your wildcard picks and rock out.